Hi, my little babies. Welcome back to another episode of What the Smut Book Reviews. There is so much rabbit fluff, like, floating around in here. You'll probably see it, like, just dust by the camera because, yeah. Anyway, hi, my name is Candace and I'm your host. Thank you for joining me for another episode of What the Smut Book Review. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Anyway, hi, welcome. Okay. I said it in my last video. I've said it several times. I mean it this time. I mean it this time. We're reverting back to the old way of reviewing. No more hour-and-a-half long videos for Candace. They gotta go. You know why? Because number one, it takes me forever to film it, obviously. Number two, it takes me forever to edit. So what I used to be able to edit in a day, now it takes me like a week. So we're gonna cut down, okay? We're not gonna cut down on the gibberish because that's impossible and that's just what I do. I ramble. So what we're gonna have to trim down on is the actual time when I explain the book, because that's, even though I do go off on tangents, I'm pretty sure it's that part that's fucking me up. So, in today's video, we will be starting back to the old, we'll be reverting back to the old Candace. Does anyone remember circa 2021? 2021 Candace? Does anyone here remember her? I mean, I look worse for wear, obviously, but she had her shit together. This Candace, not so much. But we're gonna try and get back to that. So there's no better time than today's video because I took 6 pages worth of notes for this book. Obviously, if I sat down and I tried to rehash all of that, we would be here for 3 hours. And ain't nobody trying to watch Lord of the Rings type-esque videos from Candace, okay? So we're definitely gonna cut down. In today's video, we're gonna start cutting down. So, let's, Candace, tangent much. In today's video, kids, we will be reviewing this brick house. This is The Words by Ashley Jade. And as you can see, he's a thick boy. He's a thick boy. So this book is nearly 700 pages. It's, you would think going into a book like this would be very daunting. And at the beginning, it was, because it was, what could you possibly have to say about a couple that would take nearly 700 pages? I was 100% sure that I would get midway through this book and be bored. Because after 200 or 300 pages, I'm expecting the end of the novel soon. No, obviously it did not come. I mean, they came. You know what I mean. There was another 400 pages after that. So I fully expected to get into this book and be like, oh, you know, it started out good, but then it kind of lost me in the center, and no. This book, although read at the end of 2022, because yes, it has taken me several weeks to film this, to sit down to do this review because I'm a loser. Even though this book was read at the end of 2022, it still made it to my list of top reads for 2022. Was the list big? The list had like 10 books on it. Maybe 10, I'm not sure. But this was one of them. I loved this book. Let's do the details. I'll read you guys the blurb, and then I will give you a brief overview of what this book is about, like, and what it made me feel. Because that's the most important thing, is what did it make me feel? It did. It did make me feel. I cried 3 times while reading this book. Yeah. And you guys know I don't like emotional reads. I mean, I want an emotional read, but I don't want it to destroy me. I don't want to cry. And this book made me cry like 3 times. Were they full blown like sobby tears? Maybe one of those times, but the other 2, I did tear up. I teared up big time. Okay, so the details for this book. This book is free to read with KU. If you have Kindle Unlimited, you can read this book for free, all nearly 700 pages of it. If you want to purchase this book for your Kindle, it's $2.74. First of all, who's making these prices? Does the author set these? Does Amazon set this like rando prices? I always see $3.99, $4.99, $5.99, $2.74. Maybe it's on sale. I'm not sure. But right now, $2.74. If you want this paperback that I'm holding in my hand, this giant chunk of a man, he's so fucking good looking. I can't even stand it. Like, I don't know why blonde guys get such a bad rap. Like, I see people all the time who are like, ew, blonde, he's blonde. Ugh. Why? Why don't you like blondes? Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. He's fucking stunning. He also has a lip ring, which the character has in the book, and oh dear God. I don't know what it is, but I think it's like my inner emo coming out, but there's just something about a guy with a lip ring. It does stuff to me. Anyway, moving on. If you want this paperback that I'm holding in my hands, this beautifully done trade paperback, you can get this for the price of $15.48. That's a fucking bargain for the number of pages that you're getting. That's a bargain. $15.48. Run and go get it right now. Don't even bother. Actually, you know what? Don't even bother reading it on KU. Unless you're an exclusive e-reader, then of course, obviously read it on KU because it's free. Why wouldn't you? But I'm telling you right now, to buy the trade paperback because you will want to own it for yourself. When you finish this book, you will want to own it. It's good. It's that good. Okay. This book is also available in audio. I listened to the audio. Woof. I can't remember. I want to say Teddy Hamilton narrated the male dialogue. I can't remember. TBH, I can't remember. But the book has like the insert things at the chapter headings. I also love this, by the way. When authors go the extra mile to put something like this in their book, it makes it so much more appealing to me. I just can't. Obviously, there's a good chance that I will never crack this book open. However, I have already, no, that's a lie. I did already bend the spine. But I did that because I was in search of a good quote to put on Bookstagram. Now, actually reading the physical book, as long as KU exists and it's in KU, no. It's going to sit on my shelf and be beautiful. And it's to be seen and not touched. Like all my other books. Like all the other books that I spend money on that I won't tell my husband how much. But I listened to the audio for this. The audio is very good. Very good. Now, 674 pages, according to Amazon. Right? She ended it on a 666. Dun, dun, dun. So 666, and Amazon claims that it was 674. So, you know. There's also a little sneak peek in the book at the end, like for the next couple. It's like a little author note. I'm invested at this point. Like, I am so invested at this point, it's ridiculous. Will I read the next book in the series? Fuck yes. Let's read the blurb, right? Let's do that. Let's read the blurb. The blurb for this one says, he was the talented bad boy everyone wanted. I was the irrelevant geek everyone hated. He was the sun drawing all of us in. I was a black hole taking up space. He was destined to be a star. I was destined to remain an insignificant no one until he made me believe I was special. And then he destroyed me. I never thought I'd see Phoenix Walker again after he broke my heart, but fate had other plans. 1 tour, 8 weeks, 40 shows, countless opportunities to make him pay. The world thought he was a god, but I knew the truth. Okay, so obviously there is some revenge. There's some revenge fantasies going on in this book. Okay, so the two main characters for this book are Phoenix and Lennon. Phoenix is obviously the bad boy of school, right? He's the guy from the wrong side of the tracks. He grew up in a trailer with an abusive father. His mom ditched them when he was, I think it was like 7 or something like that. She left. She couldn't take it anymore. She couldn't stand living with the father, and she just left. She just left her son in an abusive house. But he's clearly from the wrong side of the tracks, which everyone knows, just makes him more appealing, right? I mean, yes. So him and his friend Storm plan on starting a band. They want to make it big as musicians. He is a phenomenal singer. He's amazing. Storm, I think, plays drums. I'm pretty sure. And however, obviously he has like a plan to make it out of town. As soon as graduation hits, they're going to LA. They plan on just literally pounding the pavement until they get discovered, right? They're playing some local gigs. Apparently there's supposed to be like a scout coming, or like a record label person coming to one of them. But before he can get to that, he's in trouble with school. Insert Lennon. Lennon is in high school the overweight girl, the one that gets bullied. She has been literally tormented by, like, obviously the popular clique, and her self-esteem is in the toilet, basically. But she has watched him, and she knows of him. She doesn't ever expect that he will speak to her or give her the time of day, right? Till one day, she gets asked by the English teacher at their high school to help tutor Phoenix. Help him get through his final exam, or he's going to fail. He's not going to graduate. Phoenix knows he's in a tight spot. He doesn't have a choice. At first, he's hesitant. He doesn't want like, he doesn't want to be tutored. There's a reason behind this. Phoenix is a phenomenal singer, but he has dyslexia that literally no one knows about. Aside from like Storm, his best friend, nobody else knows that he has this problem. He's made it through school by basically getting audiobooks when they have an assignment for a book that he has to read. Otherwise, he will like use apps on his phone to help him, like to basically to help him read. His dyslexia is so bad that he physically can't read. Lennon discovers this pretty quickly when she starts to tutor him. At first, she's hesitant, very timid, right? Because she's been bullied and she expects him to treat her like trash. But, and in the beginning, he is an asshole. He's kind of an asshole. But then, when she realizes why he's failing, she kind of makes it her mission to help him pass, help him succeed. She goes out of her way to buy him like a reading pen that will help him like read sentences and things. And she convinces the teacher to allow him to use the pen during his final exam. This is all after they've formed like a bond of sorts. She goes with him to Storm's house where he lives with his grandmother, where they practice in her garage. And she goes there to tutor him because obviously he's not going to take her to his trailer. And she doesn't want her father, who is a famous songwriter, doesn't want him all up in her business, right? So she goes out at night when it's convenient for him, and she helps him, she tutors him. And over the course of this time, they basically form a friendship of sorts. Like, they become close friends. And he has absolutely no problem sticking up for her. And that was from the jump. Like, and that I appreciated that. Because you would think that like the hot guy, the hot bad boy at school, you approach him in the hallway, he's gonna snub you. Like, no, we don't talk. I don't know who you are. No, he doesn't do that. He has absolutely no qualms with people knowing that he's hanging out with her. And that's the first time that's ever happened to her before. Because usually people are embarrassed to be seen with her because she thinks that she's so overweight that nobody could possibly like her, right? So they form this friendship that then turns into more. Because over this period of time, as she encourages him to be better, be a better person, he starts to realize that she's doing more for him than anyone else has ever done for him. And that she actually gives a shit what happens to him, which is like revolutionary for him. Because he's never, obviously. They share a little kiss that makes everything very awkward. But then once she realizes that he's actually into her, that's when things start getting so I was literally, the angst and the burn was like, I have had a very hard time within the last like year getting into high school bully romance. Mostly because I feel like it's my age. I'm just getting up to a higher age where I appreciate novels that are more adult themed or that feature 20s, 30s. Like, it has to be done really well for me to be able to get into a high school bully romance. This book has elements of that, but he doesn't bully her. It's more of a I'm going to push you away type thing because of self-preservation, and she's not having it. Like, she basically barrels her way into his life. I'm going to encourage you to follow your dreams, do whatever it takes to get where you want to be. I'm going to be that person for you, because he's never had that person. So she does. And when he realizes that, he starts to see her in a different light. And over the course of this time, they turn into more, not necessarily, oh, we're dating type thing, but there's the chemistry was choking me. It was choking me out. The chemistry was there. And during the course of her tutoring him, he comes to the realization that she can also sing. And not only can she sing, but she's an amazing songwriter. She has like a journal that she takes with her, and she writes down songs. She doesn't personally believe that they'll ever amount to anything. Her self-esteem in general is just so low that she's embarrassed to tell her father that she writes lyrics in her free time, or that she's songwriting, because her father is a famous songwriter, and she doesn't think that her work would ever live up to that, her father's name, right? But when he realizes this, because he asks her to sing something for him, and she chooses a song that she wrote recently, and the song blows him away. Not only the lyrics of the song and the song itself, but her voice. She has a very unique, very raspy, very sultry type voice. And from that point on, he's transfixed. There comes a point where they're having a gig, and there's going to be a scout or like a label person there. And Lennon is going to support him, but she's running late. When she gets there, she runs into him and another girl, the girl who had bullied her all throughout high school. And she feels utterly betrayed. And it's not until later that she realizes the reason that he did that was because he had to get rid of her. Because at that point, he had to choose between their relationship or what they had and stardom. He came to the realization that no label is ever going to pick them up playing covers of other people's songs. He has to have original material. So he's forced with the decision to, when he's put on the spot and the moment is nigh, like, right? He essentially steals her song, the one that she wrote and sang for him. And then he sings it. And that song is what gets them signed to a label. That song becomes the first single off of their first album. It's not until months later, when she hears the song on the radio sung by him, that she realizes what he's done. Because prior to that, she just thought, well, I thought we were a thing of some kind, and he cheated on me with this bitch. But in actuality, it comes out later that he never slept with that other girl, but that he did use her in an attempt to push Lennon away. So him and Storm go to LA, They get signed. They get paired up with two brothers who were raised in foster care together. They've got traumatic pasts themselves. And right away you can tell, oh, okay, so there's going to be more books because all these guys deserve their own novels, which I'm here for 100%. They get paired up with the two brothers who play bass and I guess lead guitar. And the band, Sharp Objects, is formed. They use her song. It becomes the first single for their first album, and it shoots them to fame. From that point on, he's living the life externally. Internally, he's miserable. He's happy with the fact that he got signed and that he's a fucking superstar. But he regrets the way he did it and the fact that it cost him her. And he begins to spiral. It goes downhill from there for him emotionally, because over the course of however long, I think it's like a year or something like that, over the course of that period of time after they've separated, he's living the dream, but he's drinking a lot, which his father is an alcoholic. So he never wanted to become his father. And he's slowly deteriorating from the guilt of what he did to her. So he becomes a loose cannon, basically. At one point, him and one of the other band members, not Storm, but one of the brothers from foster care, Josh, they get into a car while under the influence of drugs. He thinks he's too fucked up to drive. He lets Josh drive. They get into a massive accident. Josh dies. Spoiler alert. There you go. So over the course of... So after that, he literally spirals out of control. Booze, drugs, women, public displays of indecency. Like he's going completely off the rails. No one can rein him in. They've tried multiple sober companions. Nothing's working, right? Finally, it comes up. Is there anyone on this fucking planet who we can get to watch him and keep him in check without running the risk that they will end up fucking him? Because that's what's happened to all of the sober companions that he has had before. He seduces them and they end up screwing each other. And then after that, they're useless. Storm comes up with, well, there is one person who hates him enough that you don't have to worry about them sleeping together. And points their manager in Lennon's direction. He goes back. The manager goes and finds Lennon where she's bartending in a strip club. To outward appearances growing up, Lennon had money. Her father was obviously famous, or a very prolific songwriter. And they were living comfortably. The last place you would expect to find her is working in a strip club. Unfortunately, she doesn't have a choice. It's the most money she can make with the skill sets that she has. Shortly after he stole the song and they went off to LA. She was left behind. And her father started developing early signs of dementia. And he deteriorated from there. They used all of his savings and his, obviously he was a freelance songwriter, so he didn't have like super great medical care, like medical insurance. And the nest egg of savings that he had, or money that he had, went on medical bills. Now they're broke. She has no choice but to bartend in this strip club because it's the most money that she can get right now. And it's better than any other like waitressing job or something, right? So the manager of Sharp Objects finds her there. At first she blows him off hardcore. I don't want shit to do with Phoenix Walker. He's a bastard. The manager is very persistent. And when he offers her a certain amount of money that she can't refuse, because she knows that it will take care of her father for the remainder of however long he's going to live. When she realizes that she needs that money to survive, she agrees. And she does it with the dual purpose of getting revenge against Phoenix. She plans to make him as miserable as possible while she's there. So she takes the job. And over the course of, 8 weeks, right? Over the course of that tour for 8 weeks, she is alternately keeping him in check, but he won't. She's there and she's trying to keep him in line. And at first, he's not having it. His guilt over Josh's death weighs so heavily on him that he doesn't feel like, he has survivor's guilt, basically. And he doesn't feel like he should be there. And so now, the emotions that he felt before, having just betrayed her, left her, stolen her song, are now doubly heavy because of Josh's death. So all around, he just feels like a garbage human being. However, he won't admit to anyone that the song was not his. That's her ultimate goal, is to get him to just admit that you stole the song. Give me the credit that I'm due and just admit that you stole the song. He won't do it because he knows if he does, their career is over. The scandal will ruin them. And the fact that they've been playing this song at every show they would owe her a lot of money. Let's just say that. Obviously, that's if she decided to sue. But being near him, again, obviously, as you can guess, being near him again and in such close proximity, the chemistry that was between them reignites, obviously. And the one caveat of her contract was you cannot sleep with him. If I find out that you're screwing him, you get nothing and you're fired. Well, she doesn't listen very well. His magnetism is very strong. And even though he hurt her, he starts to show signs of, he starts to show vulnerabilities. And she realizes that he's miserable. Like, he's fucking miserable. And she wants to hurt him, but she can't. She has a really hard time. She can call him an asshole to his face, but if he goes missing in the middle of the night at 3 a.m. and he's off on a drunk bender, she feels like she has to go help him. Not just because it's her job, but because she doesn't want to see him destroy everything he's worked for. Did it start off as a lie? Yes. But since that time, he has busted ass trying to build something and make something of himself. And now he's destroying all of that slowly. The rest of the band they got their own issues. They have their own issues, okay? Each one of them has their own issues. Which I can't wait to get the books for that because, like I said, I'm invested. But over the course of this 8 weeks, on the one hand, she hates him. She wants him to admit what he's done. She wants him to pay for what he's done. She wants that vindication of knowing, I know the truth, you know the truth. Admit what you've done. She wants that. On the other hand, she can't stand to see him destroy himself. And so, even though she attempts to keep distance between them emotionally, it doesn't work. And she realizes at the end of the 8 weeks, after they're already basically screwing each other behind everyone's back, she realizes that she's fucked herself over again. Because now she's let him back in, and he doesn't deserve it. He hasn't apologized. He hasn't, even though by the end of the 8 weeks, he's clearly in love with her. Clearly. He's still torn between admitting that the song is stolen and destroying everything, or having her, because the 8 weeks is almost up, and once she gets paid, she's gone, and he knows that, and so he has to decide, I'm at a crossroads again. Am I choosing her? Or am I choosing the lie? And he chooses her. He gets on stage at a concert and he essentially tells the world that the song is stolen. It's not a spur of the moment thing. It's not I'm on stage, I'm getting ready to sing, and I'm hit with such a wave of guilt that I just bleh. No. He plans it. He plans how he's going to tell the world that he stole the song and who the real credit for the song should go to. He has her come out to the show. Even though they're in a weird place right now and she's angry at him and she doesn't want to have anything to do with him, he has her come watch the show. And then he calls her up on stage. And there's a recurrence of an earlier scene at the beginning of the book when he first asked her to sing for him. She was so nervous. And he basically stood behind her and told her, whatever happens, don't stop singing. And then he touched her very inappropriately. That scene alone, nearly killed me. But now it's deja vu. He's called her up on stage in front of 50,000 people. And he tells her, sing the song. And he stands behind her like he did before. Obviously, he's not gonna put his hand in her pants in front of 50,000 people. But he has her sing the song. And the crowd goes wild. And he admits to the crowd that she is the one who wrote the song. And he never wrote the song. That he literally says, I stole it. He doesn't try and sugarcoat it. He doesn't try and, no. So I really appreciated this because in a lot of books, you have the asshole alpha character who redeems himself, but in a roundabout way. And I feel like a lot of times, like, the asshole, you've done too much. You did too much damage and you got off too easily. In this book, not the case. He pays his penance. Like, he takes everything that comes along with destroying his life, and he does it for her. Because during the course of the 8 weeks, she has helped him so, just like before, when he was struggling to graduate high school, and she encouraged everything he did. She's done the same thing during this tour, where she has literally pulled him up off the ground. And he realizes at the end of the 8 weeks, I can't do that to her again. I can't just let her walk away and not admit what I've done. So he does. And he does it in a very public way, in a very deliberate way. Thought out and planned. She has no idea that he's doing this. At this point, on stage, she is literally like, you don't have to do this. Like, admitting it to me is enough at this point because I'm so in love with you. I will let you off the hook. But he's not having it. And he tells everyone that he stole the song. And shit hits the fan. And he literally goes completely off the grid for her. Because it's around this time that something happens with her father. And she has to go. And his thing is, the tour is over. Yes, we do have to go record a new album, but I want to be with you. I want to spend time with you. I'm taking a mental health break. Because up to this point, he has pushed himself so hard. The label has pushed him so hard. The label has tried to screw them over numerous times. He has like no creative control over the album, what songs get put on the album. And she gives him the confidence to fight back on those issues. She gets him away from booze and drugs. She saves him over the course of that 8 weeks. She saves his life. And by this time, he's well and truly in love with her. He can't live without her. So he goes with her. And he says the band will just have to sit on hold. If the label threatens to replace me, then they'll replace me. My place is here with you now. Because you need me. She needs the emotional support at that point. And now it's his turn to pick her up off the floor. So he does. And she manages to come out of the depths of grief. And he pulls her out. And then she helps him move forward. She essentially helps him become a better person in general. She makes him better. And he knows that. And that's why he's chosen her. She ends up helping him with the label issue, with the issues of his song, what songs are being put on the albums, how long they're going to wait until they record. She helps him with all of that. Even up to the point of blackmailing or coercing the head of the record label with threats of suing for royalties for all of the times that they played her song and she didn't get paid. And she uses that as leverage to get him out of hot water for the fact that he just literally dropped everything and walked away to be there for her and support her. And yeah. She also ends up saving his career by doing an interview where she says that Phoenix didn't actually steal the song. He co-wrote the song with me. And he just didn't give me credit for it. So it still paints him in a bad light, but not in such a bad light that their band is toast. And she basically saves his career. So she gives him back the opportunity to make music and to be who he's destined to be. Because she still believes that he's destined to be the biggest rock star in the world. And yeah, there is a short, like a short epilogue at the end, that's like 3 months after, and he has now encouraged her to start singing in like small clubs and venues, and he goes to watch her, and he's living with her, and they're together. And he's working on the new album with the band, like they're recording. And life is good. Life is good. So yeah, that's pretty much the gist. I think I gave you half the plot without giving you a whole bunch of other details. There are several characters and storylines, like you can tell, being plotted in the background that are going to lead to other books in this series or for these other characters. Storm, obviously, his best friend Storm, and one of the surviving brother, Memphis. Memphis has a thing for their PR girl, Skylar. They have history together, and that book is going to be a fucking doozy. I can already tell. But yeah, that's basically the gist. For the rating for the book, I would give it a solid 9.5. Like, I don't ever give anything like a 10, but 10. I bumped it up already, 10. Okay. I love this book. There was at no point was I ever bored. Did I ever think, hey, this is really too long, you could have made this shorter by cutting out so and so? No. I can't think back to anything that I would have wanted to be removed from the book to make it shorter. I would gladly reread 700 pages. Well, 666 pages. Or do the audiobook that is long AF. But it was that good. So, yeah. I think that's pretty much it. But would I recommend this book to other people? Yes. And I have done. And I will continue to do so. Because it took me so long to read this book. I saw this book months and months ago on literally everyone's feed on Instagram. And I kept thinking, okay, yeah, I'll get to it. I'm going to get to it. And it took me so long to get to it. And I was kicking myself for having taken so long to read this book. So, would I recommend it to other people? Absolutely. I will continue to recommend it to other people. It was one of my favorite books of last year. So yeah, I would highly recommend that you guys pick up this book. Like I said, it is a standalone. It's, I guess for tropes, you would consider it second chance romance, rock star romance. There are some bully elements to it. It has that, in the beginning, it has that bully feel to it. But God, it was just so good. It was so good. So yeah, I think that's it. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you like me and you like my channel, please consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. If you would like, you can follow me on social media. I will link them all in the description box below, and I'll put a little banner here for you guys to see. If you're interested in checking out some of my bookish merch, I will link that below in the description and put a little link here on the screen for you guys to see. And I think that's it. I think I'm done. I want to read it again now. Rehashing the plot has made me want to read the whole book again. And I might, because it was just that good. Thank you guys so much for joining me for another episode. I said it would be short. I lied. It's an hour. I just couldn't. There's so much, okay? There's just so much. There's so much going on. I had to explain some things. I could have come on here and I could have been like, hey, rockstar romance, high school, they get together, he betrays her, steals her song, becomes famous, she gets hired to help. I could literally have just like, but why? Why? No one's gonna take a book rec from me going blah, 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 for like 10 minutes. I can't properly explain a nearly 700-page book in 20 minutes. Maybe the next one will be easier since it's about half this size. But for this one, I condensed 6 pages worth of notes down to bloop, what I just gave you. You're welcome. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me for another video. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next one. I love you so much. Bye. Okay. Let's take some deep breaths because this one we're gonna have to dive in on this one because okay. So let's just start, shall we? Let's just do that. Let's just start the video. Don't shake the table, Candace. I hate when I get lipstick on the straw of my cup. It's so gross. Hi. Let's do the details. I'll read you the blurb. Sorry. Interrupt us much? Holy moly. Holy moly. That was so physically exhausting and emotionally draining. But the next book that I have to review. Good. Good, 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 good. Well, this one was obviously good too, but the next one is also very good. I've been on a streak lately where most of the books that I've read have turned out to be really good. And I'm picking them totally at random. There is no rhyme or reason. Like, obviously, if I start a series, I'm going to go to the next book in the series. But aside from that, like, how I'm choosing to start these series or how I'm picking books, it's totally at random. I don't even read the blurbs before I go into it. Surprise me. Surprise me. And I have found a lot of really great books that way. So I ain't mad about it, okay? Yeah, I've said about 5 billion times throughout this video. If I could find a replacement word. I would do it. But I can't, and I don't have. And my brain is such trash that I will get through like the middle of a sentence and just completely forget, like completely space out about what I was saying and go, yeah. So yeah, it's the so yeah syndrome. So yeah. Brain fog. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next video. I said that already, but I'll say it again. I'm gonna go find another shirt that matches this lip color and my eyeshadow, because I gotta do another review after this one. Because I'm so far behind. I'm literally like 5 books behind in reviews. Anyway, I love you guys so much. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Bye. Click, click.